Problem, we're going to simplify a ratio of polynomials. This is problem type 2 in our book. This is a little different than problem type 1 because of this right here in the denominator. But the process is basically the same. What we need to do in order to simplify a ratio of polynomials is we need to factor the numerator and the denominator. So to factor the numerator, I'm going to look at this negative 14. I'm looking for factors of 14 that are going to have a difference of of 5. And the reason I know it's a difference is because this negative right here. Well, the factors of 14 that have a difference of 5 are 2 and 7. Since I want a negative 5, I want my 7 to be negative and my 2 to be positive, because if I add a negative 7 and a positive 2, I will get negative 5. Now, in order to deal with the denominator, I look at this and it looks almost like a difference of squares. But 2 is not a perfect square and neither is 98. Also, my u's are positive, so I want this u to be positive. I'm going to factor out a negative 2, which will leave me with negative 49 plus u squared. Now, I'm going to rewrite that and put the positive term in front. This way I have a very obvious difference of squares. Now I'll need to factor that difference of squares. Square root of 49 is 7, so I'm going to get u plus 7 times u minus 7. I said 7, I wrote 2, I meant to write 7. Okay. Looking at this, I have u minus 7 and u minus 7. These will cancel, leaving me with u plus 2 over negative 2 times u plus 7. Now, this negative in the denominator, that's not really proper, so we're going to move the negative out front. And now we're completely simplified. For our second example, we have a similar situation. We have something that looks almost like a perfect square. I'm going to factor out a negative 5, which will give me negative 4 plus x squared. Looking at my denominator, I'm looking for factors of 10 that are going to give me a sum of negative 7. Since this is positive and this is negative, what I'm going to want is I'm going to want negative factors. So I'm looking for factors of 10 that add up to 7. That is 2 and 5. So x minus 2, x minus 5. Now I need to factor this, but first I'm going to rewrite it into something that looks more familiar. I'm going to put that x squared in front, then minus 4. That way I have a very obvious difference of squares. So in order to factor that, that's going to factor to x plus 2 times x minus 2, since 2 is the square root of 4. And in my denominator I still have that x minus 2 times x minus 5. Looking at this, my x minus 2 and x minus 2 will cancel, which leaves me with negative 5 times x minus 2 over x minus 5. I can leave that negative up here in the numerator. We just don't want to ever leave them in the denominator. That is completely simplified.